It is known by everyone that Recep Tayyip Erdoğan is in serious preparation due to the upcoming elections and will make a surprise that will ensure that he will win the elections again. President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, who clinched his power by winning 52% of the voters with the promise of free cake and tea in the last elections, seems to be more assertive in these elections. According to the information we received from our sources at the palace, Recep Tayyip Erdoğan is going to send his wife Amina Erdoğan and his second least favorite son Bilal Erdoğan to the moon a few weeks before the elections. Efforts to persuade his wife and son, who screamed that they did not want to go to the moon, were also continuing. S.T., one of President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan's chief advisors and the father of the project, told us that this move is vital and continued, if the moon trip is successful, the Erdoğan family will be heroes and our votes will explode. If the moon trip is unsuccessful, Amina Erdoğan and Bilal Erdoğan will be martyred and their names will be written with golden letters in history, and of course, our President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan will win the first elections as a victim, as a sorrowful father who has lost his family. Failed moon travel would have even more advantages. For example, we can arrest anyone we want on the grounds that they sabotaged the rocket, and thus we can ruin their lives. The people will always be behind us. The chief advisor finished and chuckled merrily. When we asked him how much money was allocated for the moon trip, he replied, "This business is serious. It is not something like the Turkish space agency to deceive the public opinion." We interviewed Elon Musk and similar people. As a result of our negotiations, if we pay $20 billion in advance for this job, the probability of Amina Erdoğan and Bilal Erdoğan making any kind of landing on the moon, hard or soft, is as certain as 1,500%. This money will also be easily found, it only depends on the meetings that our president, our only source of life, Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, will have behind closed doors with the financiers. When we reminded the chief advisor that Amina Erdoğan's age is not suitable according to the regulations to go into space, he said that this issue can be solved with a regulation change, and that no one will care about the regulation as long as Recep Tayyip Erdoğan orders it, even if there is no change in the regulation. When we asked the chief advisor for the details of Amina and Bilal Erdoğan's reactions, he said, "At first, Amina Erdoğan was raising hell, and Bilal Bey was slumped in an armchair and gawking at the same point. But with the intervention of Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, they have started behaving reasonable." When we asked the chief advisor S.T. how the president interfered with his wife and son, he resumed speaking. He said that if they lose the election, they will be in a worse position than dying as a family, but if they do what he tells them to do, the family will be saved and, in the worst case, they will be martyred during a magnificent trip like the moon voyage. I think that the terrible situation they might experience after the loss of the election, not the martyrdom, convinced them. Couldn't Recep Tayyip Erdoğan send others? Of course, he could. However, our palace life is very different. Everyone in the palace hates each other. Parents are enemies even with their children. In this palace, everyone is the enemy of each other, and everyone is waiting for an opportunity to waste and destroy everyone else for their own sole benefit. The chief counselor then sighed and fell silent. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our videos.